Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Arlie Ingalls here. And this podcast is for me personally. This is about my story, my second book. Podcast series is a little bit more socially forward, and you'll hear more of my opinions here than you will on my other one. As you know, my family podcast is pretty much about my family and not so much about me at all. First of all, let me apologize for having taken so long to get another video out there, but there's a reason. First of all, it was a holiday season, and hopefully yours are like mine, full of family, friends, gatherings. It was a really busy time for me. I greatly appreciated it, spending time with everyone. So that was the holidays. After the holidays, sadly, we got some really bad news. And one of my aunts, actually my husband's aunt, was in a horrific car accident that sadly she did not survive. So we ended up having to take a trip to Memphis to kind of put her affairs in order so that we could then move forward. So we're still in the process of doing that. Ended up spending a couple of weeks there, but we got started. But that took some time away. And then we came back. We went on a weekend getaway just to kind of get away from everything and enjoy ourselves. And during that weekend, my mother's health took a turn. So we weren't sure if she was going to make it through the weekend. She did. But that also caused me to have to go home, which is Minnesota, and spend some time up there while she was still responding and able to have a visit with people. And since that time, she has now become unresponsive. So she doesn't really respond to people talking to her or touching her. She's still with us, but it's extremely difficult to see her in that condition. Those are the two reasons why it's taken me so long to get another video out. But so that's that piece of it, and I'll talk more about that in coming videos. But for this video, I wanted to talk about something, a storyline that I meant to put in my book. As you know, my book is titled "The Prairie Has a Rainbow." It's my story, and one of the things that happened when I was a young person. I was probably 18 years old, and just had found our community. I was met someone. His name was Stephen Schuster. He was 40 years old. At that point, the May-December thing didn't mean anything to me. So that really didn't factor in, but he was extremely handsome. He was Scandinavian by descent. You could tell his hair coloring, his skin coloring. He was tall, slender, had that natural athletic build to him. He was really a very attractive man. So we dated for a little while. And in those days, my life was measured in days, and a long period of time was weeks. It wasn't really measured in years. So things seemed to have taken a long time, but in reality, when I look back at it was probably a really short period of time. But we dated. I really liked him. He told me a story about his life that was far too common, that I heard so many times at that time of my life. And that was, so he was raised in one of the Dakotas. I don't remember which one, but he born into a farming community. He grew up, he went to school. He, like me, thought that he was alone in the world and that he was the only person that had these feelings that like he did and like I did. He didn't know anybody else, just like I didn't. So, completely raised in a vacuum. We didn't know that anybody else existed out there. But he went even further than that. He also went into the service. He still didn't discover the gay community. He came out of the service. I don't remember if he went to college or not, but he met his wife. He got married. He had 2 daughters. He was a public relations, so he was successful, and they had a really good quality of life together. And he finally somehow made the connection to the community and realized he was gay and not happy in his marriage. So he ended up going through a divorce. It was very nasty. His wife, he said she blamed him, or she blamed herself for him being gay. She felt like her relationship with him caused him to have those feelings and move away from her, and she really blamed herself, which even at that time, at my young age, with the inexperience that I had, I knew that was not the case, and what a shame. that the situation was allowed to exist, that not only, destroyed the early part of his life, he got married, destroyed his wife's life, and they have 2 children. And not that that's a bad thing. The children isn't a bad thing, but now that they have a father figure that has so radically changed. So again, it was such a shame, but I heard that story so many times. I thought it was important to capture those details so that they could be shared, because I don't really hear that story so much anymore. As I said, we dated for a while. He started wanting to bring me around his family and his daughters, which his daughters were just a few years younger than I am. And that kind of freaked me out. So we ended up not seeing each other very long and went on our separate ways. But like I said, the reason I wanted to share that, because it was definitely a timestamp for that period of time in my life, very prevalent, heard it over and over again. He's just one story and person that experienced that. And I thought it was a shame then, and I do think it's a shame now. I don't think we're seeing that quite as much as we did back then, but it was a mark of the time, if you will. So yeah, that was a purpose and point of this video. I hope you enjoy the story. If you have any stories like that you would like to share, I would love to hear them. You should be seeing my social media contact information here. You can get my book. Again, it is The Prairie Has a Rainbow. It's available on Amazon. There are other outlets that it's available on as well. If you want a signed copy, reach out to me on one of my social media platforms and we'll work on getting you a signed copy. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining me today.